Yep, and we should say tomorrow night on 3kgthecage.com we'll be having boys basketball, and you said it's a big game in the Midwest Conference, right? Tri-County at North Newton.
It is, Bob. It's a huge game. North Newton is still undefeated in the conference play, and they control their own destiny for whoever's going to come away with that one. If I could find my... I always have way too much...
I know you do.
Too many stats. You remember that from football. But let's look at the Midwest Conference here real quick. In boys action... North Newton, really a good season this year under Sam Zachary. 8-8 overall, 4-0 in the conference. Chased by Frontier 3-1, 7-7. They'll match up with them later on. DeMont Christian is 3-2, as is Tri-County. So TC looking to be the spoiler tomorrow night. We won't see Ryan Harrington. Had to call off tonight. He has other duties. So again, a little short list for coaches tonight, but we'll catch it all up by next week for sure. It's just such a busy week with the girls sectional. That alone takes coaches away from you.
Absolutely.
It's going to. We won't be able to have the Rensselaer Bomber coach here. Chad Pulver will be out following the lady Bomber team over at Benton Central, and so different reasons will make do. So the Spartans and Cavaliers tomorrow night right here on 3KG. It's a junior varsity 5:30 tip-off, so we should be on the air. What, about 6:45?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Is that probably other local sectional or conference standings? KV is 3-1 in the Northwest Crossroads Conference, but they lost to Munster, who is the only undefeated team in that conference right now. They're 4-0, so somebody's going to have to knock off Munster for the Cougars to get up there. There are a couple other 1-1 teams, as it's still early enough in the boys' action that nothing is decided yet. Hobart and Andrean are both 1-1 in conference play in the Northwest Crossroads Conference. In the Hoosier Conference, boys, Rensselaer Central is chasing Benton Central. Bombers are 2-1. BC is 3-0, and they both hold 12-5 records. Pretty good records for overall.
Yep, absolutely.
Bombers have been racking up some victories here as of late.
Hard-fought victories.
Hard-fought victories is right. No kidding. But why don't we take a timeout, Bob, and then get ready for talk with Sam Zachary of the North Newton Spartans and go from there.
On 3kgthecage.com.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook, or by calling 219-275-2441.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Welcome back to the weekly Coaches Kage Show on 3kg.com. thekage.com. This is Bill K with Bob Kurtz playing double duty here tonight, running the board and cameraman and a little bit of everything. Still has commentary we'll get from Bob. We can't let him cut him out of that, that's for sure.
No, go ahead first.
He's got his opinions. But joining us now, Sam Zachary. Sam, pretty interesting season for the Spartans so far. You guys are talk about a team that's up and down, and your emotions have got to just be all over the place. 8-8 though, I think I gotta give you guys credit for battling through. I watched you play last week against Rensselaer, and boy, you guys I'm sure threw a little bit of a big surprise into them and shocked them. They barely beat you by 2 points, right? A shot at the buzzer.
Yep.
Very exciting game.
Yeah. You talking about emotions bouncing, I think that's what my blood pressure is doing too. Been having to check my medicine every day just to make sure I'm not going to have a heart attack on some of these games that we keep going back and forth. Rensselaer, I thought we had a really good game plan going into it. We played that 2-3 zone that we haven't shown all year. For the most part, we've been a man-to-man team, and I think that's what Rensselaer expected us to do when we came out in that zone, and we played it pretty well. In the first half we held, is it Wietrich? Is that the name? Am I pronouncing
Tristan
it right?
Wietrich.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters in there, and I don't know what gets pronounced and what doesn't. We held him scoreless. The Matthew kid we held scoreless in the first half. Obviously, Chapman had an injury, but our goal was to try to take away 3-point looks, and we knew those three could hit him. Wietrich, a couple years ago in the JV game, hit like 6 or 7. And ever since then, we've been kind of leery. He didn't play against us last year. He had injured an ankle, I think, the week before. But our main goal was to take away the 3-point line, and we did a really good job of that for most of the game. I know late Matthew hit one. Actually, I think he hit a couple on us. I think Wietrich hit one or two. But we did a good job of that. We played everything. I told the kids after the game, we played everything perfectly for about 31 minutes and 58 seconds. It was just there at the end that we gave Wietrich just enough space to get a shot off, and as soon as the shot left his hands, I think I turned around and said, that's in.
How long a shot was it?
I feel like he was maybe a step inside the 3-point line. We came down, we turned the ball over about 3 times in a row.
With the score, what, tied?
I believe we had the lead when it started, I think the final was 44-42. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what the final was. I feel like we were up 42-40 or 42-41 maybe. No, it had to be 42-40. We came down, we tried to run an ISO play to Gagnon, and we didn't make a great pass to him. And it went the other way, and I think they scored. We came down again, and we had a double dribble on the wing. They got into a press late, and it sped us up. And then when we went to break it, we got pressured, and we made a mental error, which happens. They got the ball with maybe like a minute and a half left, and we sat in our zone, and so they just let the clock run. Coach Pulver took a timeout with 27.4 left-ish, around that, I think is what my book said. And they drew up a set play to try to get a shot. It looked like in the corner to Matthew. They didn't get that early look. They moved the ball around. They came back and had a set for Matthew, I think in the other corner on the wing. And we took that look away, and Wietrich kind of made a move and our kid kind of moved out of the way or kind of bit on a fake, and he just knocked down a clean jumper. And I mean, he absolutely sunk it, and that's the way it ended.
Does that get frustrating? Because you've had more than one game end that way, right?
Yeah. We lost to North Montgomery earlier in the year. Same type of thing. The only thing I'll say about this one that was different than the Northmont one, Northmont, we took away the kids that we thought would take the final shot. Obviously, playing against Rensselaer, I figured it would come down to Matthew or Wietrich taking the shot. Obviously, Wietrich took the shot. We probably should have forced somebody else to take it. But also, I mean, it's a 17, 18-foot shot. I mean, at the high school level, that's pretty good odds. We're not giving up a layup. We're not giving up a clean look. But the one thing that was different, against North Montgomery, we forced the ball out of all their hands to a kid that I don't know that had scored in the entire game, and he hit like a turnaround fadeaway that bounced off the front of the rim, hit the other side of the rim, and then went through.
Yeah.
So that one was a little different because I told the kids after the game, like, if there's one kid on their team I could pick to take a last-second shot with the game on the line, that is the kid I would pick to take it. Obviously, against Rensselaer, I would have picked somebody else. But on the other hand, if we make that stop and we play 4 more minutes, nobody knows what happens. I mean, that's anybody's ball game for us to battle through. So, it's frustrating because you hate to. And you hate it for the kids because the kids battled so hard. I know we had a 6-point lead or a 7-point lead at one point late in the game. We had really played well for about the first 3.5 quarters. Like, that's probably the best game we've played all year, 32-minute wise. And you hate to lose, but that's a part of it. And every time you play, somebody has to lose. That's just the way it goes.
Who played well for you?
Evan Gagnon finally shot the ball well. He's been struggling from outside. He's gotten to the basket. He's made a lot of layups. He's gotten a lot of rebound putbacks for us, but he's been struggling with his outside shot. I think he's somewhere in like the 30% range from outside. He was 4 for 5 from 3, and hit a couple big ones early. You talked earlier about that 8-point lead we got on that
right.
8-point run we got on early. 2 of those were a big 3 from him, or were 2 big 3s from him. I think he finished with 19, and I think Harley told me he finished with 8 rebounds. I've been too depressed to go through and watch the film to do our stats yet. He played well. Levi Church played really well, distributing the ball, taking care of it defensively. Same with Mike Levy. Mike Levy did a good job of rebounding inside, getting shots at the rim. Connor Scatella did a nice job of distributing the ball. He hit a big 3 for us. Had a couple nice looks at the basket on cuts. Andrew Kolovis had a nice – I mean – really, I'm going to go through all my kids and say they played well because it's the best overall game they've played. Everybody contributed. Everybody did their job. Everybody was locked in defensively. Everybody was there getting stops and rebounds. And offensively, we worked the ball really well, and we got good looks. I didn't feel like we forced a lot of shots against Rensselaer, which earlier in the year we've gotten into some 2 to 3 minute stretches where we've tried to force a lot of shots, where we've gotten tired, so we're settling more than we should. But really, all those kids played well. Patrick Berry came in. He had a really big play that should have been a steal, and I let one of our officials know that was an awful call that probably shifted some momentum. But he was in good position. Jake and Latulip gave us good minutes. All those kids did really well, did everything I asked them to do. We just came up a little bit short.
We, of course, lost a showcase to the weather last Wednesday, so we never had a chance to review a game a little bit better for you. Was your North White victory? What do you remember from that? That was a week ago, Friday on the 20th.
The North White game, we same way with Rensselaer. We came out and we did a lot of things well. One thing I think we've struggled on is playing full court defense, and I wanted to give it a try against North White. I wanted to try a couple different trapping things too, and it worked for us at times. I think the second quarter we held them scoreless. I think it was 11-7 at the end of the first quarter, and we went in at halftime and it was 25-7. So we did a lot of good things. They're late. I think when we get a lead that's in the 10-point, 12-point range, we get lackadaisical with the ball sometimes, and we make some passes we shouldn't, or we take some shot attempts that we wouldn't necessarily take in a tight game. Defensively, we kind of chase a little too much because we're comfortable with that lead. Those are the things we're trying to fix, and that we kind of saw late in that game because it was like a 19-point game, and they started kind of chipping it down to maybe 13. Never really in question, but another game that I felt like all of our kids contributed in and played well, and I think Gagnon had 15 or 16 that night. Levy had maybe 14. We go how those guys go. Just it was another good one for us overall.
Gagnon, the junior, 16.1 average points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game. He's just a stat filler, 1.7 assists, 1.3 steals. He does a little bit of everything for you guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's also, I know it doesn't show minutes on there because I'm not smart enough to use the clock on the computer and the clock on the iPad at the same time because they'll never sync up. But Gagnon's a kid that usually he's going to play anywhere from 30 to 32 minutes every night. I feel like for our offense to work best, he's got to be on the floor. We got to put things through him. Obviously, he's leading us in scoring and rebounding, so he takes a lot of attention defensively. But one thing I've started to see in the last 2 weeks is when he's taking that attention away, we're having guys step up. Scatella has really come a long way offensively, knocking down some shots outside. He's done a nice job of knowing when to cut at the right time, getting the ball finishing at the rim. Andrew Kolovis has done a good job of letting those guys seal or getting a quick reversal and attacking the rim. Same with Levi Church. We've had to rely on him to handle the ball and attack the rim. Patrick Berry's done a good job of knocking down some outside shots. I think we did a drill the other day, and he hit 36 threes in 3 minutes, which is the most any kid's hit in the 4 years I've been there. Mike Levy's doing a nice job of getting rebounds, getting putbacks, finishing at the rim. We're all playing well. We're all doing good things, and I'm proud of the growth that we're making every week. It's just some of these games we've got to be able to finish. I told the kids the other day, turnovers and free throws are what's killing us. I told you guys when I first got here, I think we're shooting like 43%, 42%.
44 is what I got you, and it's
yeah,
it's a struggle. Tri-County's struggling with free throws. It's kind of a story throughout our area teams. Tomorrow could come down to free throw shooting.
Well,
couldn't it?
we're 44%, and I told you guys if we're at 55%, we're 12-4, and 12-4
That's
sounds
amazing.
completely different than 8-8. And you guys have been around here longer than I have. When's the last time you've had a North Newton team that was 12-4 in boys basketball?
Right.
I mean,
Been a while.
You're
Yeah.
going back a long time. The last time we played Tri-County, since you brought that up, I think we were 11 of 25 from the free throw line, and they were something around like 8 of 16, 8 of 17.
Yeah,
like
they really struggle too.
Both of us shot the ball horrible from the free throw line. So hopefully tomorrow doesn't come down to a free throw battle, or we may be there all night.
Let's talk about tomorrow night. It's a game you can see right here on 3kgthekage.com.
Tri-County shoots 53%
Oh, that's
on the line, so it's
top
Dig
notch.
it in there.
Yeah.
Just dig it in there, Bill. It's just what I needed.
Tell us about the game. What do you know about Tri-County? What do you think tomorrow night?
We've played them earlier this year. We played them in that
Oh, that's right.
the Indiana Kitchen Holiday Classic. That game was a hard-fought game. They came out in a zone, and I think at the end of the first quarter we were up 14-7. They made a switch to man-to-man, got some pressure on us, and it was a one-point game. We went in at halftime, and then it went kind of back and forth the entire way, and we came away with a 3-point victory. A lot of those kids that Coach Harrington has on his team, I actually had in class when I was at Tri-County. When I taught 7th through 8, those juniors and seniors were the kids that I had in class. So I know a lot of them pretty well. I got to watch them play in junior high. The Zarzi kid's a really good shooter. He's a good offensive player. He puts the ball on the floor well. Nate Corbin's got a lot of size. They ISO'd him a lot in the post against us the first time. He also made it really difficult on Levy when they went man-to-man to get inside catches. Kobe Baylor's a really good athlete. He's been knocking down 15-foot jumpers pretty consistently. We did a bad job defensively on him. We were trying to chase off of screens and gave him some open looks. So you've got some weapons, or they've got some weapons that we're going to have to contain. Hughes is a quick guard. I think that'll be a good matchup between him and Church. Two quick guards that handle the ball decently well, that get after the other one defensively. You just got some pieces. The Ross kid's athletic. He's about Gagnon size. They run a lot of lobs for him or for Baylor. I think tomorrow's going to be a really good game for our conference. It's going to be a really good. It's going to be a big game, obviously, with us being in our position in the Midwest Conference and teams kind of gunning for us. That was one thing I told the kids earlier this week. At this point in the year, teams are going to be coming after you. You're going to get everybody's best game. We've got to make sure that we're prepared and we're doing things right and we're doing things well to be able to compete. Because when you're sitting in first place, everybody's gunning for you, and you've got to be ready for that.
Tri-County started the year losing 5 in a row, and they lost 7 of their first 8. So they've really come a long way to inch back towards 500 at 7 and 10. It's not going to be a gimme game for you guys, is it?
No, and I don't expect any game to be like that for us at any point. We still have to take care of what we do, and we have to do what we do well. And like I said, they've got pieces when we match up that could give us trouble. Now, on the other side of that, I think we have a height advantage that could give them trouble. If Gagnon, depending on the matchup he gets, we could have a size advantage or we could have a quickness advantage. The same with guard play. It just depends on how things match up, and really the big thing that both of us are going to deal with is foul trouble. If he's had some issues with some kids getting into foul trouble early, that's hurt him at different times, and we're the same way. If Gagnon or Levy or Church or Clovis, any of them pick up quick fouls, pick up a quick couple, you're kind of moving pieces around to see what you can get offensively and defensively. So it's always going to be a battle. We've got to be ready to play our game and take care of business and hopefully hit more than 11 free throws. I really want to see us attack the rim and try to get them in foul trouble. But when we do that, we finish, and we finish at the line.
You have a game Saturday afternoon, you say?
Yeah, Saturday afternoon we play River Forest. It's a noon JV tip, a 1:30 varsity start, and it's at home.
They are 4-13. Sam coming in.
He doesn't want to know that.
You know what I think? I just think it's amazing, though. How many years has it been since we talked about North Newton coming in as a prohibitive favorite?
He
with
don't want to hear that either.
gimme team. Well, I think we want to give them a little
Starting
credit.
to feel it, Bill.
I just want to give them a little credit. You guys are 8-8, and you've come a long way this year.
Well, I appreciate that. I actually, now that you bring that up, I have told the kids, my second year we were 13-9 or 13-10. Last year we were 10-12. That's the first time North Newton's had back-to-back 10-win seasons since 1978, 1979.
Whoa.
And so some of when I took the job in 2019, the last time they had won more than 5 games in a season was 2005, 2006 maybe. I think Coach Gonzi had a team in 05, 06, 07 range. That was the last time they had won more than 5 games. And so to have the kids competing the way they are, to have the kids bought in the way they are, it's really a testament to what they're doing and what we're trying to do in the program. But they are the ones that are turning the corner. They're the ones that deserve the credit that we're finally starting to see some glimpses of success. Obviously, I'd like for it to be a little more, as I said earlier, but I feel like we're starting to turn that corner, and we're starting to, for so long, and you guys can attest to this, being on the radio, you'd go cover a North Newton game, and it really wasn't much of a game, especially against some of these teams that we're playing, the Tri-Counties,
right.
The North Whites. It wasn't much of a game. Now, we may lose, but it's competitive. We're there, we're battling. Rensselaer, I told you guys earlier, we haven't beat Rensselaer since 2001. We came down to a last-second shot the other night. We're starting to be competitive, and we're starting to give ourselves a chance that I think people are starting to get a little more interested in what we're doing, and it's starting to give our kids some confidence to hopefully pull through some of those tight games or those difficult stretches that we have in the schedule.
How's your JV team been going lately?
Our JV team's getting better every day, and that's the most important thing at that level. We're playing a lot of freshmen at the JV level. I think we have 8 freshmen.
Wow.
I know the other night at Rensselaer he started, all freshmen. It's a big learning curve. Our junior high season ends in December, and so for our 8th graders going into 9th grade, they go from December to November before they pick up a basketball. And so with that long, 10, 11-month layoff, and then to try to pick back up and start playing a JV schedule, there's a big learning curve. But those kids are doing well. They're competing hard. They had some games early where they were coming in to 3, 4, 5-point games. Same with the varsity. They were just missing some free throws. But they're getting better every day. They're working hard. They're starting to give our varsity guys some competition in practice to make our varsity team better. So that's good, and I think we're moving in the right direction with our younger kids.
Sam, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it showing up here tonight, and we'll be over at North Newton tomorrow night.
I look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks.
Good deal.
Sam Zachary from the North Newton Spartans, back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Welcome back to the Coach's Cage Show, a weekly preview and a little look back. And got a coach with us now, Chris York, who's just coming off a game last night, the early sectional round, knocked off the opponent, pretty much had your way with them. And hey, you didn't pick out who you're going to play, so they didn't. It was, what was that squad?
Lighthouse. Yeah, Lighthouse College Prep Academy, I think is what it's called.
Okay. But they came in 0-11, so they're now 0-12. You stopped a big losing streak, and that had to feel good coming back just to get on the winning side again.
It did. I mean, when we watched the selection show, there was a certain way, and I think I don't think we've talked since that's happened because we didn't have our
last week.
But you go in there and you kind of hope for certain things. You're like, all right, this is the best way this could work out, and the way it worked out for us, there's only one scenario, just one team that maybe could have worked out a little bit better than what it did. Us playing Lighthouse was a really big deal, just because like you said, we were on a really long losing streak, and in that losing streak, there were maybe 3 or 4 games that we were maybe in and had a shot, but a lot of the other ones we didn't. I mean, part of that, you look back and maybe the Covington game, the Frankfurt game, things like that. But it was good to not only get a win, but also give the girls some confidence. You look at the rankings, and Lighthouse is at the bottom of the rankings, and but with that being said, you still have to go out and you still have to play. So a lot of the things we did were decent. It wasn't perfect, but I don't know. I guess I do things differently than what some people do. Once it looked a certain way, even in the first quarter, I had everybody but 2 of my kids in the game, and by the beginning of the second quarter, I had everybody in the game, and the rest of the game was just rotating people in and out and in and out and everything, because we've been in that situation so many times this year that, we know what that's like when you're just completely struggling and you're just trying to find anything to have any success. So it was a chance for me to get everybody in the game, just more experience, sectional experience. We only gave up 2 baskets, so that looks good on paper. We scored 47.
That's got to be big in itself,
because we
averaged 27 a game.
We tied our high. I think the highest game we had was maybe Hebron at 47.
47-39 victory
and
back in December.
It had been a real long time since we scored anywhere close to that amount of points, and since you're a coach and you want things to always progress and you want to always get better, you have to find something that wasn't quite right. And in this case, we probably should have been in the 60s with all the real easy shots that we missed. So,
does this help your team gain confidence?
I think so. I think everybody's, especially with our couple of seniors, they've been more vocal at practices, knowing that the end is getting pretty darn close. So, wanting to pick things up and knowing that we get to play another game. So, yeah, I think it does give them some confidence, and things have started to look a little bit different at practice. They're starting to do things that they don't normally do. They're passing the ball more quickly. There are just some things that maybe on Friday, parents will be seeing things. They were probably impressed by what they saw, and hopefully they tempered that just a little bit. With maybe, we did look better than we've looked against anybody else, but unfortunately, this team was unlike any other team that we've played. So I mean, we played well. But yeah, I think that things are kind of coming together. You could say it's like too little, too late. But when else do you want to start to peak if you're not?
You're
1-0
now, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we can't say that about any other part of the season because
right.
we started with KV. So, yeah, we're 1-0 at this second juncture of the season. So, yeah.
Well, you'll play Whiting
yeah.
on Friday night. This is at Andre in the first game
yes,
of the
again.
semifinals. Whiting had kind of a situation just like you did last night. They played Gary 21st Century.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit more polished, I'd say, with 3 wins on the season. But Whiting won 56-33. They are now 7-14.
Mm-hmm.
As you look at that, what do you know about Whiting? Is that a squad you can play with and knock them off?
Yes.
You didn't play them in the regular season?
We did not. But being at Calumet the last 2 years, and being at Wheeler and being at Hanover, being in the Greater South Shore Conference, you play Whiting every year. They're in that conference. So you can be fairly familiar with some of the players that I played last year. But the system's different because they have a first-year coach. The coach that was at Whiting is now at Wheeler. So it's a brand new coach, a new system, but some of the same players. So, yeah, I am familiar with them. They beat a team that had 3 wins, right? And 2 of the wins that team had were against the team we played last night. So it's all, a lot of the teams up there, some of them are kind of struggling, so they're just kind of picking each other off and everything. When it comes to Whiting, they've got one girl with some decent size who plays post. They've got a couple girls, one girl that handles the ball decently, does a pretty good job on defense, and a couple of them can shoot a little bit. We were watching them today. They've played man and they've played zone. And it's kind of fun to watch the games with the girls and kind of scout because, we watch it on this big screen in one of the assistant coaches' rooms, and they can pinpoint all kinds of stuff. They're like, oh, look at this, look at where they're going there, the whole middle's open, all this kind of thing. If we can translate that on the floor, that'd be awesome. Like, okay, this is what they're doing. Let's make sure that we shut that down, or let's make sure we exploit this, They're coming way out on this. Let's dribble into that spot. So, they enjoy watching this stuff and scouting a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's definitely a team that we can compete with. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to stop a couple of things that we have going for us. In the game that we watched, the girl that I was just talking about had, I think, 3 fouls fairly early. And McKenna Schliemann is bigger than the girl that she was having to guard. I believe 2 of her fouls were charges. So she'd gotten the ball in the post, and she had turned and just knocked somebody over. So, one of our girls, Lexi Cunningham's like, yeah, that's because she does that. I mean, she tries to get charges. She's one of the only people we have that'll do that, and that's one of her goals all the time is to get a charge or 2. So, I think that that Friday night is a winnable game, and it's always nice to see those on the schedule, especially when you've been kind of where we've been. I said this a couple weeks ago. It'd be great to get to Saturday. I mean, I've only been to one Saturday night game as a coach, and that was a couple years ago at Calumet. But there's really nothing like that atmosphere. It's going to, likely the 2 best teams in the section are Lake Central and Andrean, and they'll be playing each other at 7:30 tonight. So, one of those teams is going to expect to be there on Saturday. But I would love to be there.
We didn't get a chance to go over who played well for you last night.
Okay. So last night, with kind of the revolving door with most of the people, everybody got a chance. McKenna Schliemann had 16 points, and I haven't really done the stats because we got home late last night. But it looks like she had 7 rebounds, and Lexi Cunningham had 14 points, and she had a couple rebounds. We had Cheyenne Cahill had 5 steals. Maria Oliver Barrio, she hasn't played a lot on varsity, but she hit a couple shots in the first half. She had 5. Madeline Ehrenholtz had 6. And Cheyenne Cahill had 4. So we kind of spread it out. A lot more people scored than usual because a lot more people got more meaningful minutes than usual. So
that must have been a fun ride back to North Newton last night.
Yeah, it was a little long because the girls are always begging to go to eat someplace. They're like, you always starve us. And where I'm from at Hanover, we go places and we never stop anywhere unless we go to Lafayette, Culver, Terre Haute for some big trip. And
sure,
these guys are all used to stopping all the time. And I'm like, guys, whatever time we get back to North Newton, I still have another half hour to get home. So, but and each time we've stopped, we wind up at a McDonald's where there's almost nobody working in the back. So we sit there, right? We sit there for 25 minutes as everybody's getting their fast food. So, but they get fed, and I show them my lunchbox. I'm like, girls, I make one of these every day, so I don't need to stop to go home. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We'd rather eat food at a restaurant. So, that's what we do. But I guess that's part of the bonding thing. I mean,
sure.
Last night I think I was writing some things out for practice on the bus while they were all inside getting their food. But, yeah.
Chris, I thought it was interesting how you explained how they help you scout and watch pre-games. Has that something that they've advanced in as the season goes? I mean, they're better at it now than at the start of the year?
Yeah, but we definitely have to do it in short bursts. When we started watching, I kind of got on their cases a little bit because, I teach 7th grade. So I'm used to kids having about 12, 13 minutes worth of attention span, and that's all they've got. Well, these guys are high school students, and we start watching 10 minutes. They're pretty attentive. By about the 15-minute mark, everybody's just like spazzing out. Somebody brings up a conversation, and everything just goes away. So we can only watch it for that much time. Today was better. Today we got through more of the game. I think we got through about halfway through the second quarter because we had about a half hour. Coach Zachary was on the floor today until 3 o'clock, and we would usually get on the floor at 2:30. So they were out there, so it was time for us to watch. And they did a better job, and they were paying more attention and seeing which girls were going to pressure them and how much pressure there would be and which girls maybe can't handle any kind of pressure and the way we play if they could get something done. So I think it's gotten a lot better. A lot of things have gotten better, and hopefully it can continue whatever we can do in the spring, and then I hope we can have some kind of real good get-togethers over the summer, whatever that is, whether we go to D1 camp, whether it's a matter of 2-3 days a week just in open gyms, or if it's bringing a couple teams in every once in a while. Whatever we do, has to be effective in order for us to kind of ride whatever positive we've got coming out that going into next season.
And I assume the big thing Friday night is getting your team to believe they can win, right?
Absolutely. And I think they do, and it's just going to be a matter of the lights not kind of freaking them out at all. Actually being on the floor. I think we're going to go into the game knowing that we can beat that team, but it's slowing everything down, not muscling up and throwing the ball through the wall. I mean, because seriously, that's what happens. We get freaked out, we throw it at feet, we throw it through the wall, and that kind of thing. If we can just keep some composure, and I told them that recently we've been doing a lot of working on defense, because you don't freak out on defense, right? You can't have turnovers on defense. That's a matter of just want to and aggressiveness and just being where you're supposed to be. It has nothing to do with those physical mistakes where you don't pass it right, you don't catch it right. Defense doesn't really have turnovers. You have mental lapses and you leave somebody, but we've been working on that quite a bit lately, just because we maybe have more control over that than the stuff that we maybe don't have physical control over, if that makes any sense.
And you said you're the first game, second game?
We are the first game again.
At what time?
We play at 6 o'clock, so we play Whiting, and then the games going on right now, 6 o'clock and 7:30, will determine who plays the 7:30 game, yeah.
All right.
Hey, before we let Chris go, you came in the good attire here. That is pretty classic.
Yeah,
let's get it on camera here. That is a New Mexico, right?
Yeah, New Mexico, University of New Mexico, Brian Urlacher jersey, yeah. And
turn around, put the whole thing, man. That's cool. I like that jersey, man. I have never seen one from when he was in college.
Well, neither had I. I think I was scrolling on eBay one day and I saw it and I was like, oh, well, I'll bet most people don't have one of those, so I grabbed it. I mean, it's not an authentic anything. It's a sublimated jersey, and I don't know, it just kind of looks cool.
It's cool, yeah.
My daughter went to Wyoming, so I became a Mountain West fan and everything, so, and I remember that he went to school there, so.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's a classic
I didn't
Bear.
until you come in with that wearing that today.
As a defensive back, too, and then he came in and he became a middle linebacker.
That's right.
Yep.
He was a pretty high draft pick, wasn't he, for the Bears?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
They were probably bad when they grabbed him, so yeah, it was probably a pretty high draft pick.
Let's get the conversation out of here.
All right.
Talk about the Bears some other time.
It wasn't hockey this time.
I know it. Hey. Chris, go get him Friday. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully we'll be playing on Saturday, and I'll be back to talk about what happened on the sectional championship game. That'd be great.
Like Chris York from the North End Lady Spartans, back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a well of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook, or by calling 219-275-2441.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask. Give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Okay, welcome back to Arnie's Pizza, and joining us now, coming in, is Brian Heimlich, another one of the victorious coaches from last night. Coach, you had a nice 56-38 victory over West Central, but now it just gives you the chance to come in against 19-1 Caston. So, that's the way the draw went. Tri-County, a winner, plays 1-17 South Newton. I'm sure you wouldn't mind that draw either, but hey, you're going to have to match up against Caston at some point,
right,
to win this thing. And it's like Coach York was talking about. It's just great. I mean, you guys have had a lot of experience and a lot of success in last year's sectional and from before that, but it'd be nice to get back to tonight or this weekend, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, for sure. We've had a good week here. We played Frontier last week, and we wanted to have some momentum going into the sectional. I thought we got that. We were able to beat North Newton and then Frontier, to end the season. And I thought, on the road at Frontier, we struggled a little bit in the first quarter. It was our senior night, but we came out in the next two quarters, and I thought we played very solid defensively, and we just got our offense going, and got a lot of different kids, going offensively. We had, I think, almost everybody that got in scored in that game, and it was just good to finish the season. Like I said, to get some momentum going into sectional, and then.
What'd you finish in the conference? Midwest.
5-2. 5-2.
Second place.
Yeah. Or no, third place.
Third place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Faith Christian won it, and then DeMott Christian was second. So, a little disappointing there, but it was a solid year.
And you lost to those two schools, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We lost to Faith by 4. Right before Christmas, and then lost to DeMott in a close 6-point game there just a couple weeks ago. So.
I never get to ask this, but every coach says we want to play our best basketball at the end of the year. Are you guys doing that now?
I feel like we are. I mean, going into this year, obviously we lost a significant number of experience off of last year's team. We had Abigail and Tessa, and then Callie Hunt had come off the bench a little bit for us last year, but the Abigail and Tessa were our main, two scorers coming back. And so that we had a lot of youth. So, early in the season, that was a struggle. And we started off with North Miami, Carroll, and Caston as our first 3 games, who I think they lost a total of about 7 games all year.
Jeez.
So it wasn't easy. And then, we get a couple wins under our belt. And then, Abigail goes down. Our point guard goes down with the injury. So then it was a struggle for – and we played some great competition this year. I mean, our schedule.
You really
was,
do for a 1A team. I was looking at that last night, and I think that pays dividends. Right?
I think it will. I mean, that's what we're hoping right now. It's going to pay dividends for us. But it was a tough stretch at the time, especially without that experienced point guard. But I think it helped some other girls gain some confidence as well. Throughout that stretch, and that's why I think right now, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've finally gotten everybody back. We've had full practices. We haven't had anybody out because there was a stretch where we were down to about 10 or 11 girls because we had a couple of concussions and then Abigail with the ankle, and so it was just tough to throw some competitive practices out there. So it was nice. It's been nice to finish that way and get into some things in practice wise, and I think we're finally at that point, which it is good to have at the end of the year going into sectional that you are playing about as well as you can. And I thought last night.
Yeah, take us through last night's game.
Last night at West Central, at Tri-County versus West Central, it was, they're a team that, scared me. We played them early in the season and beat them, but they're a very scrappy team. Defensively, they get after you. They don't quit, and they got some girls that can knock down some shots. So, and you're playing that first round of sectional, and you got some kids that haven't done that yet. You just never know what happens. But I thought we started off very well in the first quarter. Defensively, we did what we needed to do of shutting them down, and we got a lot of different girls going. I thought probably one of our best games we have played all year. Really, we moved the ball well. They threw 2 or 3 different defenses at us, and we were able to adjust to whatever they threw at us. And I think
Tyson Mellon's a pretty good coach over there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I said they don't quit. I mean, that's something that they don't. They play very hard. But at halftime, we were able to have a 32-12 lead. I think we had played 6 girls at that point, and all 6 girls had gotten in and scored, and it was good balance offensively. We finished the game obviously 56-38. Tessa led us with 21 points.
56, that's a lot for
Lady
Vikes.
We put up some points. Tessa had 21. Autumn Rife had a big game for us last night. She had 16 points and 14 rebounds. She's gained a lot of confidence in the last month, and she's a very athletic girl. And
what grade is she?
Freshman.
Right. Well,
so she creates a lot. She's been able to create a lot of opportunities for us on the offensive glass, which does when you can create some of those, that helps. And then Katie Stevens knocked down a couple shots early. And Callie Hunt knocked down a couple. We need some of those girls. Especially when it comes Friday night, we need some other girls. We have to knock those shots down when we get those opportunities. And Morgan Carter came off the bench and scored. And Abigail Spry did a great job handling the basketball last night and just kind of directing things. And I said it was a good team effort. We were balanced all around, and defensively, I thought we played well. So, it was a good first round win for us, and now we're ready to go up against Caston, who's a very, very formidable opponent, obviously.
20-2. What do you do this week? I mean, are you just thinking of new stuff you can throw at them? You played them very early in the year, back on November 11th. It's a pretty close game. It was 45-34 Caston victory at Caston. So, but what's your week going to be like in these couple days going up before Friday?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going over things with the girls. What personnel wise, we're familiar with them because we faced them. A lot of the same girls are on the team that we faced in the sectional final game last year. So our girls that were there, know them very well. And then obviously we played them earlier in the year, but they're very. All 5 starters are very comparable. I mean, they've got a couple girls that are leading scorers, but they're a very physical group that for the most part they're going to play a man defense. They mix in a little zone in there, but they're just physical. That first round match or that first time we played them, and we told the girls tonight. I mean, they're averaging about 12 offensive rebounds a game. And, I think they scored 10 of their 17 first quarter points the last time were on offensive, it was second or third chance points. So, I mean, that's something that we will have to correct or we can't give up to give ourselves a chance. Because that's a lot of, you give up, I said they're averaging 12 offensive rebounds. That's a lot of extra possessions. That's just like you turn the basketball over and things. You're just giving them extra opportunities. And they're too good to give them those. So that's going to be something that we're going to have to really cut back on. And then
you really stress being able to block out.
Yeah, I mean it is. They're just so aggressive to the glass. You've got to find them and then stay with them, and then just be physical enough to not let them take it from you, because like I said, they're a strong group of girls. And offensively we'll throw in a couple new things, but I think at this point in the season you're pretty much where you're at, but you can always throw in a couple wrinkles here and there. But we're going to just have to be patient, take care of the basketball, and I said hopefully you can knock down some shots when you get those opportunities, and they don't. I mean, a lot of times that's what it comes down to.
Do you use the comment that Caston's the huge favorite? They got a big bullseye on their back, or do you not say anything about that?
Not too much. I mean, we do tell them. I mean, especially you can get it into a close if you can keep it close. I mean, the pressure's on them.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is. They're the favorite. I mean, so that's the goal, is just to try to keep it close, because sometimes when you get to that position and shots start tightening up a little bit. I mean, they're used to, most of the time this year they've been ahead in games, so pressure's on them. We just got to go out and play hard and try to get. I said we got to get extra possessions and not let them get those on the offensive glass, and hopefully shots will fall for us. That's going to be the big thing, and maybe get some foul trouble. That's that can always change some things at times too.
So take us through. What do you do tomorrow? What do you do on a game day? How do you handle all that? What's the preparation for the Friday night game?
Well, tomorrow, we're just going to go over a scouting report and walk through things. Make sure we're all on the same page. What we're going to be doing defensively. What we need to do with this girl and that girl, and kind of what we will need to force them to do, and then offensively what we're going to do. Go through, just kind of review everything at this point in the season, and just making sure everybody's on the same page, and then. We always try to go over some last-second situations. If we get into those opportunities again, what are we going to do in this, these scenarios, and which we do throughout the year, but we just kind of review those as well, and then that's about all I think all you can do. And then game day, I mean, it's just any normal game day really. As far as we will be in school, so it's not any different there. And then we play the second game, so we'll get over there and watch that first game. Friday night.
Do you get to shoot around in the auxiliary gyms at all?
Yeah, they do. No? They do let have balls in there. We can go in and shoot around. Really the other night, our girls didn't do that, but they might. They might Friday night. They said it's kind of nice to play that second game because it's more what you're used to when there's a JV game. I feel like, and especially on Tuesday night. I feel like Tuesday nights. That sectional are always the toughest, just especially opening. I mean, you just get those jitters out. But I mean, when you're the opening game, I think that's always been the toughest one. So last night was a little better because you could kind of get in there. Girls could kind of get the atmosphere, take it in, and then just like a normal, game, like you're following a JV game basically. So,
did you practice at Tri-County before the first game?
No, they put in that rule a few years ago. The IHSA did, where if you played there during the season, then you don't get able to go over there and practice. So we didn't get to do that this year.
How do you like their floor?
I've always enjoyed their floor. I think it's about 19, 20 years ago when I first started coaching. That was where we won our first sectional when I was up at West Central. So. We've always kind of enjoyed that. I was talking to Tyson about that last night because Tyson was my assistant at West Central for all those years. And, next year will be the 20th anniversary of that. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but I feel like we're getting old now. So we were talking about all those players and things like that. So, it was, time does fly. It does go quick. But, yeah, I've always enjoyed that gym over there most of the time. I think the announcer over there, Hall, Matt was, said something, kind of putting it two and two together with Tyson. And I said, yeah. So we were just talking about that. But I said then about 2 years later, he scored about 28 on us one night in a sectional game, and they beat us. So I always remember that one too. So, but yeah, a lot of fun over there. It's a good gym.
All right, go get them. All right.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Brian Heimlich from the North White Lady Vikings. Back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com after this.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our number one priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the 3KG, the Kage, Coach's Cage show every Wednesday night here, live from Arnie's. Joining us now is Coach Billy Shepard of the 6-10 Kankakee Valley Cougars, coming off probably a little bit disappointing, but you knew it'd be a tough game going in on the road at Portage. They knocked you off 64-52, I believe that was last Saturday.
Yep.
And it stopped the 3-game win streak. You guys were on a roll there a little bit.
Yeah, we're playing better basketball now. We're starting to figure some things out, and last weekend was really kind of a tough weekend for us because as I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago, our starting point guard Colton Pribble broke his nose, so he's out for the foreseeable future. We did get some good news. What day is today? Wednesday. We got some good news yesterday that he will definitely at least be back for sectionals.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe
have to wear a mask or.
Yeah, probably, for sure sectionals, probably the game before North Judson. So, that was some good news we got yesterday. So he was out that weekend, and then another guard that had been starting for us, a junior, Jake Anderson, we find out on the day of the Highland game on Friday that he has a sprained wrist, and he's out for the weekend.
Oh, jeez.
So we were out 2 starting guards, and quite honestly, our 2 best defenders. So, we were just mixing and matching the entire weekend and throwing kids out there that had played, that really aren't in positions that they shouldn't be in. And, so I was really happy to get the Highland win. We gutted that one out. That made us 3-1 in the conference. And played, for the personnel we had, played really well, And then we go up to Portage, and, obviously just, we're against who I call the sectional favorite at their place. And we were still obviously shorthanded, but we got down to 17 early, but we were down 17 at the end of the first quarter, but cut it to 9 in the second and the third. We just couldn't get over the hump. And I've just been impressed with, especially offensively, the way we've been, even though we were down 17, we just stuck to our game plan, and that allowed us a few chances to get back in the game. But Portage is a good ball club, and and they're going to be tough to beat when you're at full strength. It's just we watched the film on that tonight and saw some things, especially on the defensive end, we could do better. So, we'll continue to move forward and continue to play as good as we're playing here. We obviously, Portage couldn't run away from us, so. We feel good about that, and it's just one of those things where if we see them again, I think our kids are confident. I just told them in the locker room, though, after the Portage game, it's like, we're close against Munster, we're close against Michigan City, we're close against Portage. I said, there's one of these times I got to come in here and say, you did it, because you don't know you can do it until you do it. You can say that you're confident, but one of these times I got to go in there and say you did it, and so we're still looking for that. But obviously we got some couple other opportunities down the road here with some pretty big games. So
good time to start tomorrow, huh? At Hobart.
Yeah. Yep. Last conference game going up to Hobart tomorrow night, and obviously we're looking to go 4-1 in the conference, which will, solidify us in the second place spot unless Munster stubs their toe. But you can't really depend on that not happening. So we can only control what we can control, and if we go up there and get a win and go 4-1 in the league and be second in the conference, I mean that's not all bad either. So I think we're going to get not Pribble, but I think we're going to get Jake Anderson back tomorrow. He practiced a little bit, but I think he's going to be back, so that'll at least give us a little bit more depth than we have. And and then obviously we got another tough one out in LaPorte on Saturday, so that'll be another good gauge for us too.
Go over.
That's a matinee game, isn't it?
Yeah,
Saturday.
Afternoon. Yeah.
Yep.
Go over some of the people that played well during these games that we haven't talked about yet.
Well, Friday night we had a pretty good performance from multiple guys in the win against Highland. Cam Webster is now taking over the point guard spot for us. He was off guard for us. He slid over to point guard, and one of the things I talked with Cam about before he took over the point guard spot was we tried him at point guard over the last 2 summers, and it hasn't went well. He goes way too fast, gets out of control, goes at a speed he doesn't play well at. And I told him, I'm like, I've wanted to play a point guard for 2 years, but you just make me put you in another spot, and he decides, like, you got to stay under control, and he has done a fantastic job. Run the team. In fact, to a point where when our point guard Colton Pribble comes back, I mean, he's probably going to wind up being our off guard, and because Cam has done that good of a job with the ball in his hands and playing at a pace that he can succeed at, but yet is still comfortable looking. So Cam's played really well. Hayden Days had our 6'7" kid had a good night. Both nights really.
You've been wanting him to step up more.
Yeah, and we have 6'7" and 6'5" inside, and I've talked about this a couple weeks ago too. We just have a lot of advantages in there that people just have a hard time matching up with. And even Portage, I mean, we got the ball inside whenever we wanted. I mean, offensively that's what I was happy with the kids, is that we didn't panic when we got down. It was just we're just gonna keep going inside. And then our bigs are smart. If they're double teamed, they kick it out and we get wide open threes. I mean, it's a pretty easy game when you got a couple guys inside that can attract that much attention, and Jeremiah Jones being the 6'5" junior, he had a good weekend overall. I mean, he played better Friday night than Saturday night, but I mean, he had a good weekend overall. And we have a sophomore, Bobby Lalonde, that's been starting for us the last 5 or 6 games, and he had 13 on Friday night and wound up with 6 or 8 on Saturday. So I mean, we're playing pretty good basketball overall. Just we got to get a few more stops here and there, and we saw in film where our off ball defense has to improve. But other than that, we're on the right track right now. I think we're all pretty satisfied with how things are going. Boy, it'd be nice to get 2 this week though.
Tough part of the schedule. I mean, these Duneland teams, never easy to play them. You got a lot of road games lately.
All throughout, right?
Yeah. I mean, and now that we're 4A, we tried to toughen it up a little bit. And, we're in a 5-game stretch right now where it was 3 conference games and 2 Dunelands. And we're currently 2-1 in that stretch, and we're hoping to go 3-1 tomorrow night, and then obviously we got another Duneland after that, and then the week after that, people, Hebron, who's over 500, but then you got East Chicago Central coming in. So I mean, nothing gets a whole lot easier after that either. So, but it's good to get those types of teams, and it prepares you for sectional, And like I said, I hope that we can go in the locker room after one of those bigger games and say we did it, and just to show the kids that they really can do it, instead of just talking about it. But like I said, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the way we're playing so far. We're playing right now, we know what we got to do, and we're looking like we understand how to get it done. And as a coach now, it just becomes a challenge of keeping things a little fresh, not for our players, but for the opposition too. Like we went to Portage, and I called out a play, and they might have known our plays better than we did. And it just coaching is just so good nowadays, especially at the 4A level, where if people prepare for you, I mean, they just know you.
Sure.
And so now one of my challenges every week is I'm going to try, like Purdue does with Edie, with my 6'7" kid. I'm going to try to get a couple different little actions every week to maybe get him open early in the game. That like just nothing fancy, but just a couple different looks that people haven't seen before. So we can do this. We can do this a couple of possessions early in the game, and maybe get him going. And if I call this, the opposing coach is going to be like, "What's he calling?" Instead of me calling.
Change up your signals.
Instead of me calling the play, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they're doing this, and this." Like Portage was doing that all night. And it was just like, so we put in a couple different looks, a couple different easy actions for Hayden this week, and we're going to start the game off with it tomorrow night. Hopefully in the first 3 possessions he gets a couple buckets, get him off, and and then we'll do the same after Laporte. We'll probably keep the same for Laporte because it's tough to do it in one day. But then when we hit the next week, we'll find a couple different actions for him to isolate him down the block and get him going. So just little cat and mouse games like that are fun in the coaching circles to take part in.
What are you hoping to accomplish from this point on till the end of the regular season?
Well, obviously, we want to. The first and foremost thing is you want to finish 4-1 in the conference. And that can happen with a win tomorrow night at Hobart. I would like to, between Laporte and East Chicago, get at least one of those games, just to show our kids that they can do that. And other than that, just continue to improve at what we're playing, and just continue to build our confidence in how we're playing right now. There's not a team in that section that's going to run away from us. So it's not the way we're playing now. We're going to be in every game. Portage beat us at Portage, but by 12. But we're going to be at full strength next time, and we're going to be playing on neutral floor next time. So it's just like, just continue to do what you're doing, get better at what you're doing. And they have a lot of belief. Even though our record's 6-10, the three game win streak and came at kind of a time where we kind of switched things up. So everything kind of came together a little bit at that time, and just the kids have a lot of confidence right now in what they're doing. So just keep that level of confidence and just get better at it.
What kind of game will it be tomorrow? How's Hobart play defense, and what do you expect from them?
Hobart plays a lot of. They're almost exclusively man to man. Pretty physical, which you would expect from a Hobart team. A football school is going to be pretty physical, but we obviously, just like almost every team we play, we outsize them at a lot of spots. We got to go inside and establish the paint. And also, Cam has to do his thing too. He is a 3-year starter, so we don't forget about him. Even though we want to go inside, he needs to be a big part of what we do. And being at the point guard spot where the ball is in his hands, he needs to be a good decision maker for us and stuff. Hobart on the offensive end, we covered, and that's one thing I have to do a better job of, and our coaching staff has to do a better job of, is preparing the kid for the opposition. And we went over Hobart stuff the last 2 days. And especially and we don't have to know all of their plays, but the 3 plays we see the most from them, let's know what they do, and let's get a plan to defend these. And now we went over that the last couple of days. Now it's up to the kids to remember that tomorrow night. But let's frustrate them like Portage frustrated us when we would call stuff and they would have it shut down. We'd be like, look over the bench, like, what do we do? And so that's going to be kind of the thing with us, is where we went over what they do offensively. They're a lot of pick and roll. So we could went over how we wanted to cover that, and as long as we stick to the game plan, we should be all right.
How would you rate your team's defense at this point? Are you still putting things in? Are you still growing? Are they accepting the challenge of playing defense for the entire game, 4 quarters?
Still actually putting some. We're not putting anything in. I think everything that's in. We do have some zones we play, but everything that's in is in. Still getting better in our man-to-man off the ball. I told the kids tonight after watching the Portage film, I said, literally the thing that's keeping you from winning a section right now is your off-the-ball man-to-man defense. Our help line is not really great. Our off-the-ball, we tend to relax when we're off-the-ball defense. Our on-the-ball defense is fine. But off-the-ball, we tend to relax, and we tend to take a break, and all of a sudden we get somebody cuts in front of us, or all of a sudden we're late closing out to a guy because we were kind of relaxing, and that is the stuff that's hurting us. And that's the stuff that hurt us against Portage when we watch the film. It's like, man, if we just played better defense off the ball, we'd have won that game, and being as short-handed as we were. So I think, but it's good for the kids to watch that and see that, like we did tonight. I think, once we need to work on that. But, it's not that the D is bad. It's just that we need to get better at that.
JV Cougs, how are they doing now?
They split last weekend, too. They beat Highland and lost up at Portage by about the same amount we did, 12 to 14, something like that.
So what's their record now?
Let's see, we played 16 games. They played 1 less than we did. They're 15, so that would be 12-3.
12-3.
So that means they're doing really well, especially after we brought the one kid up who was a starter and a big-time scorer for them. They still only lost 1 game after that. So they're a pretty smart group as far as basketball goes. They, that's why I should have used them more in preparation throughout the course of the year. They're a group that we went over Hobart's plays with them for like 10 minutes, and they knew them like the back of their hand. It was just a smart group of basketball players that can do what you want them to do. So they're doing really well, and they're looking forward to getting hopefully a couple wins this weekend as well.
Who was that you brought up
Bobby Lalonde.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, in the 6 starts, he's had 4 games in double figures, so he's doing pretty well. But just like every sophomore that comes up, I mean, he's struggling with the defensive end of it. You know, because you got to be really focused and on point at the varsity level on defensive end. There's no time to relax, and especially at the 4A level, I tell these kids, I mean, if you have a weakness, these coaches will find it. You know, and so they're I think they're really getting that point. We talked about Purdue a little bit tonight, you know, about how, because I was at practice at Purdue the day before they played Ohio State. And, you know, I told the kids, I'm like, how Purdue was just so focused for an hour on what Ohio State did. You know, they were just focused on how we have to guard this play and this guy and this guy. And I told them, like, Purdue doesn't have to be number 1. You know, they could have went to Columbus and lost by 4 or 6 and been number 12 and been just fine. They choose to be number 1 by how they focus and prepare and stuff like that, you know, and that's, you know, we need to get that type of attitude as we prepare for sectionals because, you know, we could win that thing. But, I mean, we have all the pieces there, but how are you going to prepare? You know, how are you going to challenge yourself to make sure that when it's time to focus in practice, I know what I'm supposed to do and I remember it come game night. So, you know, those are some things we talk about, and it's really cool to be in a situation where even though you're playing big schools, you got that opportunity still.
What would you rate, just like a grade system, your team right now as far as, you know, what you're talking about, being able to focus for the entire game? Are they 90% of where they need to be, or 95, or, you know, are they still at 45?
If you took my class, you know I'm a pretty harsh grader on a lot of things, so I would say probably 70 to 75%. You know, it's just a situation like tonight we're going over plays. We're going over some hover plays, how we want to defend it, and I got one of my varsity guys kind of talking to a JV guy and joking around. I'm like, hey, listen, you know, you're going to be out here, and we're going to depend on you to know this.
Sure.
You got to know this stuff, you know, and it's, but they also come from, you know, they also have never been presented with that type of, you know, expectation before though either. So it's, you know, that might be a little bit on our fault as well. So I'd say 70 to 75%, but I do think they're 100% focused on knowing they need to be that way, you know, so that's the good thing that we're starting to get through to them. We got a month, so, you know, keep working on that, and, you know, maybe I'll be nice and give them an A sometime.
Hey, we're looking forward to, haven't seen you in a while. We'll see you at the North Judson game, your regular season closer.
That'll be senior night. Like I said at the start of my time here, you know, I'm hoping that'll be the reemergence of Colton Pribble that night. You know, so that will be. I know that's his goal to play on senior night. I mean, he's already been okayed for sectional, but you know, obviously senior night, the game before. I mean, that's his goal to play for that, and well, it'd be really nice to get him a few minutes before tournament comes around just to get his feet wet again, because no matter what your injury is, when you get out there the first time, it's always a new experience, and you're a little timid, you know.
Sure.
So it'd be nice to get him out there and just get that whole, you know, anxiety feeling away, and just let's play ball. And then when sectional comes along, it'd just be another game at that point in time.
Bill, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it very much, and good luck this week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Okay?
Thank you very much, guys. We look forward to being here.
All right. Bill Shepard from the Kankakee Valley Cougars. And, Bill, we have our first final from the Benton Central sectional. It's Benton Central 54, Western 47. So.
Well, good for the Lady Bison. There's
no surprise
still
there,
rolling.
though.
No,
Right?
no.
All right. Back with more of the Coach's Cage after this on 3KG, thekage.com.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
See, Chris.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Coach's Cage Show here on 3kgthecage.com. Bob Kurtz, Bill K. with you here, and joining us now is Coach Ricky Monemeyer of the South Newton Rebels. Coach, you got a bunch of games to talk about. I know you guys are closing in. It's a tough year so far, but one of these days you're going to be here with a big smile on your face.
I hope so. Yeah, we've got 3 games I think to talk about. On the 20th, we hosted DeMont Christian, another conference game for us. We knew they had some decent shooters. They had a kid coming back that had led them in scoring the last couple years. So we kind of game planned around that, tried to keep the ball out of his hands and make other kids beat us. And I thought we did a decent job of that. First quarter they hit some easy shots, but we made some adjustments. And between second and third quarter, we actually outscored them 23-20. So we had a run there. We cut the lead to I think 7 at one point. Going into the fourth, and then we just couldn't score in the fourth quarter. They hit a bunch of free throws, and that was kind of the ball game. But
we have that game on our archives. We were there, and it was a very interesting game. I hadn't seen DeMont Christian. You guys played them really well early, and it seemed like they wore you down a little bit.
And I just counted the stats again because I forgot from 2 weeks ago, but first half they hit 13 field goals between 2s and 3s. In the second half we held them to 6 total between 2s and 3s. So our adjustments worked. I just think it was a little too late going in, and then we couldn't score very well in the fourth. But we were competitive. The score, we lost 55-36, but it seemed a lot closer than what it was if you take away that first quarter, getting outscored by 10 there. So who did well for us that night? We had Corbin Cruz actually led us with 8 points that night. Connor Latta had 7. Luke Hoskins had 6, and then we had a couple guys with 5. So lately our scoring's been pretty spread out. I think Tri-County game we had 9 kids score. This game we had 7 kids score. So we're not getting a guy in double digits, but we're getting 2 or 3 around 7-8 points a game, which is nice. We just got to find a way to get over the 40 mark more often. I think that's kind of been our hold-up. We've been right around 40, 42 points, and that's it. I mean, we haven't got any further than that.
What's the biggest emphasis in practice right now as the season's moving along here? Is it defense, offense, or
more defense lately? Just because we haven't scored well all year. Losing Stillbauer has been tough on us, but we've been trying to clean some things up rotation-wise defensively and getting the kids to just buy in and play a little harder at all times, because I feel we put 3 quarters together really well most nights, and then there's that spurt of 2 or 3 minutes where we just kind of lose our minds, I guess, and stuff just starts going wrong, and then it compiles, and that's when the team goes on a 10+0 run on us, and we just can't fight back after that. So we're trying to clean up the rotation stuff and make sure our kids are, taking time off the clock, running our offenses how we want them to, and making hard cuts. And I think they are. They're starting to play a little better. You can see that in the last couple of games we've played.
All right, what do you got next then?
The Tri-County game you guys were at, we ended up losing that one 54-40, and that's another one that we gave up a 14-0 run in the second quarter. We were, I think, within 1 or 2 points at one point, and then it was down 15 just like that. We chipped away a little bit in the second half, but just never could get over that hump of being giving up a 14-0 run. So it was tough. We did have 9 kids score that night. All but 2 kids that we dressed scored, so that's a plus. Nobody over double digits, but it was 6-6, 5-5-5. Like, we just pretty spread out. So I like our chances going against them again as far as matchups. I felt as the game went on, we got a little more comfortable. We played them pretty even. Besides that 2-3 minute stretch, going 14-0, it's tough to come back any game, especially when you're pretty evenly matched going into it. And then we hosted North Vermilion that Saturday, the next day, afternoon game. They came up after they ended up beating Covington. I told you guys that I didn't think they would beat Covington that night. They ended up beating Covington on their homecoming, so that was a big win for them. They came up and played really hard. They were, I think, carried from the night before. They were just playing really well. Good basketball. They were driving, kicking to a big kid that had down low, and we just, again, had trouble with rotation stuff. We were down 27-14 at half. We ended up battling back in the third quarter. We started putting some pressure on them and switching up our defense a little bit, and kind of held them in check. And then the fourth quarter, we had to foul more. They got to the free throw line. They hit some easy buckets because we were trying to pressure and get some easy steals. But we ended up losing 48-35, so we lost by 13. We were down 13 half. Played them dead even in the second half. So just a game where you don't give up a big run. We're probably right in it to the very end. We've been stressing to the kids, especially lately. We got to find a way to just be competitive in that last 4 minutes of the game. Play well enough to the last 4 minutes to where it's toss up, anything can happen. Wherever the ball rolls, fouls called, that kind of stuff. Just put us in position to compete, give us a chance to win. I think they're starting to get it. It's a process. Okay, we're finally starting to gel a little bit, and it took us 2-3 months to get there. So just hopefully we're playing our best basketball going into sectional. That's what we keep telling them. Keep getting better every day. Keep working on your game. Things will come. Shots will fall. The North Vermilion game, we had a lot of shots that were rimming in and out. Just nothing falling. So we just keep telling them, shots will fall. Just keep playing hard. Keep doing what we're doing, and we'll be fine.
Do these guys concentrate real consistently through the whole game, or has that been a little bit of a problem with a young team like you guys are?
Just an experienced team, yeah. It's a lot of, I think they can relax for a couple minutes, and that's usually when stuff starts going wrong for us. We're not super deep on our bench. We dress 11, but we're not super deep as far as just the level of talent that we have. So when your top kids aren't playing at the level you think they should be, or the level that we think they should be, it really brings everything down for us, and then we get into that 2-3 minute spurt where the team just goes on a run. It seems like they outscore us by 20 in that spurt, and then we're chipping away, trying to fight back, and tell them all the time, I'm just like, if we play a whole 32 minutes, not take 2-3 minutes off here and there, like, we would be very competitive in every game we play. But if you don't put 32 minutes together, it's very hard at the varsity level to compete and win games. It is.
You got Fountain Central coming up on Saturday at your place, a matinee. That should be interesting. What do you know about them?
They're good. I think they're ranked 7th or 8th in 1A right now. They got a 6'8" kid down low.
That'll be a challenge.
Yeah, big challenge. They're very junior-led, but they do have a few seniors on their squad. The 6'8" kid's one of them. Honestly, our next 2 games are going to be super tough matchup-wise for us. Not to get too far ahead, but this weekend they got a 6'8" kid, but he likes to shoot the ball in the perimeter a little bit. They like to run. They'll play some tough defense. They'll run and trap a little bit. And then next week, I'll bring it up next week when I'm on again, but Iroquois West has a 6'9" kid that's going to Iowa on a football scholarship, so it's just
What do you do?
We need to get some of those kids at South Newton.
They're not very far from South Newton. They're only 20 minutes down the road. I don't know where they're getting their kids at, but
it's like getting ready for Edie at Purdue.
Yeah,
what do? You play these guys? You double on them?
I was going to say, we pick our poison kind of like what everybody does at Purdue. You look either, trap, double the big guy down low and leave three-point shooters wide open, or you try to dig and make him make shots at one-on-one. I mean, you just pick your poison. You just got to pray hard, hopefully their shots, or play hard, and hopefully their shots aren't falling as consistently as they have been all year for them. But
is that something you can flip back and forth? I mean, double them for a while and then.
Yeah, we have different calls and stuff for it, and we'll game plan a little more these next couple days, going towards Fountain Central, and then next week we have 5 days until we play Iroquois West. So we'll have plenty of time to game plan as much as we can to find out what is going to work best based off film and whatnot. But I mean, 6'8", 6'8", 6'8" is 6'8", 6'9" is 6'9". Our biggest kid is 6'2", 6'3" maybe. I mean, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough matchup, and their guards are good. Each team's got pretty good guards. They play fast. They shoot the ball well. They pressure the ball well. So it's just gonna be tough matchups for us. But like I told the kids, even if we lose a game by 20 now with these next couple of games, if we're playing very good basketball, if we're getting better in these next 2 games to get us ready for North Newton, Faith Christian, North Miami, Attica at the end of the year, going into sectional, I think it's going to help us. It's just going to be a better feeling going in rather than, losing by 30 or 40 and playing awful. So we just tell them that we still have to work on things. We still got to get better. We still got to work on our stuff, even if the team is, a top 10 team in the state or has a D1 athlete on the roster.
Right.
Can't shy away from it. You got to go out and play. And I think we will. I think we'll play hard.
Tell us, it's tough sometimes when you're going through the season you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
There's an attitude to your team. Is it still good, positive, or
we got
to struggling with that?
We really do have a good group of kids. We try to keep it upbeat as far as the coach's standpoint. Like, we don't like being 0-15. I know the kids don't like it, so we try to keep practice a little more upbeat and fresh and positive as much as we can with the kids, especially with some of the games they have. So we, even after losses, we point out good things every time, whether it's, Corbin Cruz, who usually doesn't score the ball. He had 8 points the other night, and we were celebrating that just because he's a kid that typically is not a kid that wants to score or attack the rim very much. So we're celebrating that. We're celebrating a kid, just giving full-out effort all the time, just little things like that. And I think
it's important to be positive.
It's become contagious a little bit. Kids are realizing that they can be a little more positive in situations even when you have so much negative going on. But it has been a very taxing season as far as just all the outside stuff that we've dealt with the stuff at the school, losing Chase,
tough season.
Sickness every other week. Like, it's been tough. So we're getting there. I think by sectional time we'll be playing our best basketball of the year. And then, like I told those guys, anything can happen at that point. We can go in with 1 or 2 wins, and anything can happen. That's the beauty of sectional, man.
They're almost throwing like everything at you. On the first year, you're getting you're getting some of everything right there.
I know.
Getting all the experience in 1 year.
Yep. I wouldn't trade it though. I've enjoyed the year, even if we're not having the success on the court. I think I can see improvement in every kid this year, whether it's just handling the ball better, seeing the floor better, shooting the ball better. I can just see little improvements from every kid, and our underclassmen have played pretty well. The JV level that haven't won a lot of games, but they've been competitive in the majority of the games they've played in, so that's nice to see as well. That group doesn't have really any JV experience from last year. Most of those kids were freshman kids or 8th graders last year, so it is very nice to see them be competitive, and you can kind of piece some things going into next year when we lose the 6 seniors that we have. Trying to figure out who we're going to match with who. I mean, a year is going to change a lot, but it is nice to pick those things out as the season goes.
Ricky, you done?
Your sectionals, I like those sectionals where they're, that's almost all
basically
Midwest
our
Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at West Central, place you're familiar.
Is it all Midwest Conference?
Yeah, except Caston.
Just Caston, yep.
But they used to be in it. So.
Yep, used to be in it. And that'll be our 3rd time going there at least. So we did the Jamboree there. We played at West Central this year on the schedule, and then sectionals there. So we could go there 3 or 4 or 5 times this year, depending on our draw. But yeah, I was talking to coaches back here. There's no juggernaut in the sectional.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Everybody's like gonna be a 7-8 win team going in, and then you have us, maybe 2-3 wins here at the end of the year. But nobody is like a 15-16 win team where you're like, this is probably the team that's going to win it all. So if we roll our best basketball out there against somebody else's best, I think if we can compete for the 32 minutes, I like our chances of matching up with anybody in our sectional.
All right, Ricky, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it very much. Good luck the rest of this week, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Ricky Monemeyer from the South Newton Rebels, and we'll be back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage show right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics. Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
All right, we're ready to wrap things up here from Arnie's Pizza. We want to thank them, of course, being the great hosts they are every week. It's super. Thank all our coaches that are able to make it out and spend some time here, give us a few inside tips and whatever on the season and their teams and everything. Don't forget to support your girls sectional. We still have teams going on there. Benton Central, a winner. Couple games in the early rounds here at BC in 3A. Benton Central knocked off Western tonight, 54-47. And the Lady Bombers from Rensselaer Central playing right now, and they are ahead of Frankfort 15-4 after 1 quarter of play. So West Lafayette will play Twin Lakes on Friday, and then Benton Central will play the winner of the Rensselaer Frankfort game. In 2A, we still got North Newton as they rolled into semifinal action, and they'll play Whiting. So that'll be up at Andrean on Friday as the early game. And in Tri-County Sectional, a couple of teams were winners last night. Tri-County knocked off Frontier 63-34, and North White beat West Central 56-38. So the way that lines up, TC will match up with South Newton in the first game Friday, and North White has the challenge of knocking off 20-2 Caston in game 2. So support the gals, and well, I'm sure we'll have more input from coaches next week as they come and talk about wrapping up their season a little bit. Maybe we'll have somebody going on. I don't know. You never know. But
it'd be nice, but boy, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it
is. It's going to be really tough.
It's tough. The way it lines up, it seems like, we were talking with Ricky about their sectional and the boys coming up, how there's not a juggernaut. It seems like in the girls, every bracket has got that one juggernaut that's just impossible to knock off, or a big challenge anyway. Whether it be Twin Lakes, aren't they number 1 in the
undefeated? Yeah.
Yeah, they're 22-0 right now, and 24-0 after they beat North Montgomery last night, 76-23. So they're definitely rolling there. Andrean has got a tough game at the 2A class on their home court tonight, as they're the prohibitive favorites, 19-3, but they're playing 15-4 Lake Station. So that will be a good one. I'm looking forward to talking with Brandon Bradley a little bit next week. He said he would come in and see what happened to the Cougs last night. It was disappointing, but it certainly didn't take away from the fine season they had. So that's going to wrap it up for us, I think, Bob.
Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night we've got basketball at North Newton, Midwest Conference boys action, and we're looking forward to a good one there as Tri-County will come in to play North Newton, who's both teams are having decent seasons. So I think the Cavs were 7-10, we said, and the Spartans are 8-8 right now.
Pre-game show will be at 6:45. Bill, we'll see you then, all right?
Looking forward to it, Bob.
It's going to do it for here. I'd like to thank Arnie's for hosting the event tonight and all our sponsors for making things possible. We're Bill Kay. This is Bob Kurtz. Until tomorrow night, so long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.